Every single time Alexandra Eala steps onto a big stage and either shocks the world with a massive win or pushes a top 5 player to the absolute brink, the same tired circus begins. The headlines start screaming. The insiders start tweeting. The thumbnails explode in all caps. Eala needs a super coach. Why won't she fire Joan Bosch? Did she reject a $1 million offer? It's predictable. It's lazy. And honestly, it completely misses the point. So let's have the conversation nobody in tennis media seems brave enough to have. The narrative that Alexandra Eala needs to abandon Joan Bosch and hire some celebrity supercoach is not just wrong. It's wildly disconnected from the reality of professional tennis. In fact, her refusal to jump on that revolving door might be the most mature, strategic, and quietly brilliant decision she could make at this stage of her career. First, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. The Modern Women's Tennis Association has developed a panic-driven coaching culture. It's a carousel of ego, desperation, and optics. A top 20 player loses early at a slam, coach fired. A rough 3-week stretch, coach replaced. One dip in confidence, bring in a famous name. We've watched players bounce between high-profile figures like Patrick Mouratoglou, Brad Gilbert, and Sasha Bajin as if swapping coaches is the same as swapping rackets. The assumption is simple. Attach a celebrity to the player's box, and magically, the second serve stabilizes, the nerves disappear, and the trophies roll in. But that's not how tennis works. Tennis is brutally individual. There are no timeouts, no substitutions, no halftime speeches. When you're down 4-1 in a deciding set and your lungs feel like they're on fire, you can't turn to a sideline full of assistants. You get one glance, one look up at your player's box, and whoever is sitting there needs to represent absolute trust. That's where Joan Bosch comes in. If you want to understand why Alexandra Eala refuses to upgrade her coach, you have to rewind the story. Long before the endorsement deals, long before the viral moments, long before the global spotlight. At 13 years old, Alexandra Eala left her family in the Philippines and moved thousands of miles away to train at the Rafa Nadal Academy. Imagine that for a moment. A teenager in a foreign country, different language, different culture, 5-hour training days, academic pressure, physical exhaustion, homesickness. That environment isn't glamorous. It's isolating. It's punishing. It tests whether you truly belong in elite sport. Joan Bosch wasn't hired after she became a rising star. He wasn't brought in once the cameras showed up. He didn't arrive when sponsors started circling. He was there when she was a homesick kid fighting through blisters and doubt. He was there during the awkward technical adjustments, the early losses, the mornings when quitting would have been easy. That matters. In professional tennis, trust isn't a luxury, it's oxygen. You cannot manufacture it overnight, you cannot buy it with a bigger contract, and you certainly cannot fake it under the lights. When Eala looks into her player's box, she doesn't see a resume. She sees someone who knows her game from its foundation. Someone who understands not just her forehand mechanics, but her emotional rhythms. Someone who can read her body language from across the court without a word being. Celebrity coaches come with brand value. They come with Instagram followers. They come with media buzz, but they also come with ego, with divided attention, with the constant noise of public expectation. The media struggles to compute Eala's loyalty because it doesn't fit the drama-driven script. She's rising, she's marketable, she has a massive fan base. So in their corporate logic, she must need a super coach to match her superstar image. But development is not a marketing campaign. A young player's trajectory is fragile. Growth is not linear. Technical evolution takes years. Mental resilience takes repetition, not reinvention. If you constantly reset the voice in your corner, you risk resetting your identity as a competitor. Stability is power. And right now, Alexandra Eala's greatest weapon might not be a heavier forehand or a faster serve, it might be continuity. While others panic and reshuffle, she builds. While others chase optics, she reinforces foundations. There will be a time in her career when new perspectives may be necessary. That's natural. Every elite athlete eventually evolves their team, but evolution is different from panic. Right now, she is not stagnating. She is climbing. She is competing toe-to-toe with higher-ranked opponents. She is gaining experience in the exact way champions are built, through repetition, adaptation, and trust. So maybe the boldest move in modern tennis isn't hiring the loudest, Maybe it's keeping the quiet one who helped build you from the ground up. In a sport addicted to quick fixes and public drama, Alexandra Eala's refusal to abandon Joan Bosch isn't stubbornness, it's clarity. And that clarity might be the reason her rise is only just beginning. She doesn't need to look up into her box and see a famous resume. She needs to see the man who knows her breaking point because he was there the first time she hit it at 14 years old. She needs the coach who understands exactly when to speak and exactly when to stay silent. The one who knows whether a nod is enough or whether she needs a sharp reminder to reset her feet and breathe. That level of psychological precision cannot be purchased with $1 million contract. It cannot be negotiated. It has to be forged. Slowly, painfully through shared struggle. And that's the part casual fans miss. They say Joan Bosch hasn't coached a world number one. They say she needs someone to take her to the next level. But are we watching the same matches? Because if you strip away the noise and actually analyze Alexandra Eala's game, you'll see something very clear. Her entire identity on court is built on a foundation that wasn't assembled overnight. At the Rafa Nadal Academy, the philosophy is unmistakable. It's rooted in Spanish clay court tradition, heavy, suffocating topspin, relentless point construction, lateral movement that feels elastic, defense that turns into offense, the stubborn refusal to donate free points. That's not flashy tennis. It's disciplined tennis. And it's exactly what Joan Bosch has been, teaching her since she was a teenager trying to survive 5-hour training blocks far from home. Look at the data. Look at the match patterns. Look at how she builds rallies like a chess player mapping out 10 moves ahead. She doesn't rush. She probes. She absorbs pace and redirects it. As a lefty, she creates uncomfortable cross-court angles that drag right-handers off the court and then punishes the open space. That tactical sophistication doesn't happen by accident. When she pushed Jessica Pegula to the brink and physically exhausted seasoned veterans, that wasn't luck. That was a system working exactly as designed. Bosch has crafted a blueprint that maximizes her physical tools, her endurance, and her mental resilience. So why would she fire the architect of a game that is currently unsettling the top 50 just to bring in a flashy name? Here's what people don't talk about. When you hire a celebrity coach, they almost always want to leave fingerprints. They tweak the grip, they adjust the toss, they alter the footwork. Not necessarily because it's needed, but because if you're paying them millions, there's pressure to show visible change. They need ownership of the transformation so they can claim credit when trophies come. But Alexandra Eala does not need to be dismantled and rebuilt. She needs continuity. And the maturity it takes at 20 years old to resist the ego boost of hiring a headline-generating coach, that's extraordinary. Think about the pressure she's under. She carries an entire nation's expectations. Every deep run fuels louder Grand Slam predictions. Sponsors watch closely. Commentators speculate. Social media debates rage daily. It would be incredibly easy to panic after a tough loss, to shift blame, to appease the narrative, to fire the coach and announce a bold new chapter with a legendary name. But she doesn't. That decision traces back long before international headlines, back to public courts in the Philippines with her grandfather, Lolo Bob. The lessons weren't about fame. They were about loyalty, about gratitude, about not abandoning the people who helped you build the foundation just because you've stepped into bigger rooms. What she and Bosch have isn't a typical employer-employee relationship you often see on the Women's Tennis Association circuit. He understands the cultural weight she carries. He understands her family dynamics. He understands how to shield her from the circus that surrounds rising stars. That emotional literacy is irreplaceable. Imagine trying to build that level of communication from scratch in the middle of the most pressure-packed stretch of your career. Learning how a new coach reacts to stress, figuring out their tone, their expectations, their emotional rhythm, all while trying to crack the top tier of professional tennis. That's not evolution. That's disruption. The reason she can rattle off 7 straight games with her back against the wall isn't just fitness. It isn't just forehand mechanics. It's stability. There's no drama in her player's box, no conflicting voices, no power struggles, just work repetition and trust. When she looks up mid-match, she doesn't see a brand. She sees familiarity. She sees shared history. She sees someone who knows exactly how her engine runs. And that calm? It shows. The steely focus in her eyes during pressure moments isn't random, it's cultivated. It's the byproduct of an environment where she doesn't have to second-guess the voice guiding her. Will there come a day when she adds another perspective to her team? Possibly. Every elite